Titan Exchange recently launched Solana's first Meta DEX Aggregator, and it seems to have kickstarted an arms race to deliver the best possible rates to Solana DeFi users. Now, Kamino has also entered the chat with Kamino-Swap, and it reached a $10 million volume on day one. The timing could not be better given the poor sentiment and all the noise and fear around tariffs that are plaguing the timeline. Kamino's move now means not only one, but two challenges to Jupiter's monopoly exist. But unlike the tariff war that we're seeing on TV, this DEX war on Solana is undeniably a good thing for us. And here's why. So to clear up any confusion first, a Meta DEX Aggregator is basically an aggregator of aggregators. So for anyone looking to trade or swap on a DEX, platforms like Titan will find the most optimal route across all platforms. Then the trade is routed through multiple DEXs like Radium, Orca, and even other aggregators like Jupiter and Meteora. Now, both Titan Exchange and Kamino-Swap are using this approach to one-up each other and essentially challenge Jupiter's monopoly. And it's turning into one of the most fascinating battles in Solana DeFi at the moment. So is this DEX arms race a bad thing for Solana? The shortest possible answer is no, absolutely not. And it's not even up for debate like the tariff war question, because what we do know from history is that first movers like Marinade, which is Solana's OG staking provider, maintained about a 50% market share for a significant period of time before other projects came in and challenged that. We also know that the liquid staking race is heating up with Sanctum, Jito, and Solblaze entering the staking space, and that's created some healthy competition which, as we know, forces innovation. Ultimately, it's the end users who benefit from this type of arms race in a growing ecosystem, and we're seeing something similar happening now with Solana's DEX aggregation race, where we, as the end users, will likely benefit the most from all this research and development that now goes into figuring out how to offer the best possible rates to retail. And as you'd expect, the race is getting more and more heated by the day as projects start to realize that Solana's DEX volume dominance isn't going anywhere. Case in point, Matcha. It's an ETH-based aggregator, and now they're enabling cross-chain swaps to also serve a Solana customer base. So let's talk about Kamino. Just this week, on April 2nd, Kamino launched Kamino MetaSwap, which also aims to offer the most realistic and accurate swap rates on Solana. Now, while Titan Exchange focuses on their proprietary algorithm called Talos, Kamino's gone down a slightly different path, because the key innovation here is something called Active Simulation Mechanism, or ASM for short. It simulates trades in real time and displays it to account for slippage and volatility. So essentially what you see on screen is what you get. This prevents a scenario where the end result is slightly less optimal for the users than the displayed amount due to things like slippage. Now, it's essentially providing more transparency up front, which of course is a welcome touch. But Kamino also introduced a new RFQ system powered by Pyth Express Relay. Now, this lets a network of searchers compete to execute the trade at the best rate possible with zero slippage and zero platform fees. It's a similar concept to Marinade's stake auction marketplace, which we have covered in detail, so you can check out our recent videos on Marinade if you haven't already done so. Now, you could well argue that Kamino MetaSwap is a serious challenger to Jupiter's monopoly, and the same was argued about Titan Exchange, but let's not forget that Jupiter sometimes processes billions of dollars of daily trade volume, and it has amassed over a $2 billion TVL across the various products that they offer. So it's unlikely that we see Jupiter's dominance dwindling overnight, but let's just quickly recap what Titan launched before we get to Jupiter. So just 2 weeks earlier, Titan rolled out the first feeless Meta DEX aggregator on Solana, and it was warmly welcomed by the entire community. We recently spoke to co-founder Chris Chung about it, so do check out that video if you're hungry for more information on Titan. Now, Titan's claim to fame is, of course, their custom-built routing algorithm called Talos, which updates quotes much faster than other aggregators. They even claim that it beats Jupiter on price up to 80% of the time, so check out those stats. So we have two Solana projects competing for Jupiter's crown, and even Matcha is making moves on Solana now. But to complicate matters even more in this ongoing DEX war, the king of Solana DEX aggregation is facing some turbulence lately, and there seems to be a few separate reasons for this, at least based on the community's responses. First off, the Ultra Aggregator update added an unpopular 0.1% fee on most swaps, which actually ends up benefiting Jupe token holders. Now, this evidently is a tiny surcharge. If a credit card company or PayPal announced a 0.1% charge in fees, none of us would react. Maybe the merchants would, or maybe the business partners, maybe international organizations that move astronomical amounts of money around daily would complain. fine, that would be fair enough. But given how volatile crypto is at the best of times, it's unlikely that 0.1% is bankrupting anyone. Now, the second reason for the turbulence around Jupe is, of course, that the token price plunged about 70% from its January highs. Now, yes, that's terrible news for anyone who bought the top. But the harsh reality is that almost everything which is considered a risk asset is down significantly as a result of macro conditions and, of course, the uncertainty that we're seeing in the markets right now. Then we also saw some internal disagreements with the DAO and a divisive budget vote drama that have compounded some of that community unrest in the last week or so. But zooming out for a second, here's the bigger picture. When you combine the price action with terrible sentiment, and then Titan launching a new shiny Meta DEX Aggregator, and then Kamino entering the chat with Kamino-Swap, things look far more bleak for Jupiter than they are in reality. And if you look at the net total amount of duped stake tokens, it remains relatively stable. So it's absolutely critical to remember just how pivotal Jupiter has been in shaping Solana DeFi. As the chain's first and most dominant DEX aggregator, Jupiter's pioneered seamless token swaps for retail users, and it's held a near monopoly on volume for good reason too. Just look at this growth rate from 2023 until now. People chose to use Jupiter because it worked for them, and it still does. But just like we saw with staking, where Marinade once held 50% plus market share before, of course, being joined by Jito, Sanctum, and Soulblaze, competition breeds innovation. And the same is true in the token launchpad space with Pump Fun and Radium, and the same dynamic is also playing out now with Solana's DEX aggregation space. Newcomers like Kamino and Titan are stepping up their game with fresh ideas. We're seeing retail-first incentives like referral programs and advanced routing, which is all to the benefit of the end user. And this really captures Solana's ethos here: progress, experimentation, and constant improvement. And again, it's clearly the end users who are winning, because projects built on ETH are now also coming to Solana. So all in all, it's safe to say that the aggregator wars are likely just getting started, and it's convenient for Solana users who stand to benefit the most. Currently, we have a three-pronged assault on DEX fees. Kamino's bringing realism, Titan's bringing speed, and Jupiter still holds the crown. But based on Matcha's decision to integrate with Solana, we can definitely expect to see more challenges emerging very soon. Now, if you have used any or all three to swap, then do let me know in the comments which aggregator you prefer, and of course, why. And if you want more high-signal DeFi breakdowns, then don't forget to like the video and do subscribe to SolanaFloor. I'll see you next time for more updates from across the Solana ecosystem.